Jake Paul is one of those people you just can't ignore. No matter how crazy or dumb his actions might seem, Jake is like that kid in school who eats glue and somehow ends up as class president. Call him a genius, call him dumb, whatever it is, Jake Paul knows exactly how to make the world pay attention. From starting out on Vine to being fired by Disney, and from scams to boxing, Jake has built an empire out of controversy. Jake's journey started on Vine, the app where people made short, goofy videos before TikTok took over. Jake wasn't just any Viner, he was that guy yelling into the camera, doing dumb stunts, and acting like your loud cousin at a family barbecue. By the time Vine shut down, Jake had millions of followers and a reputation for being a loudmouth. In 2016, Disney came knocking and cast Jake in Bizaardvark.
Heyo, I'm Jake Paul from Bizaardvark, and you're watching Disney Channel. Oh, no looker, first ever. Oh.
A kids show about quirky vloggers. For a second, it seemed like Jake was on the path to being a wholesome star. But let's be real, Jake Paul and wholesome don't exactly mix. His public pranks and wild behavior didn't sit well with Disney's squeaky clean image. By July 2017, Disney fired Jake and set apart.
I am no longer going to be a part of Bizaardvark and the Disney family. And I'm like so reluctant to say that, and it's like my first time like talking about it on camera and like really kind of wrapping my head around it, and it sucks.
After Disney dumped him, Jake decided to take his chaos to the next level. Enter Team 10, a content house in Los Angeles where he and 9 influencers lived together to make videos and pull in crazy pranks 24/7. And this wasn't just any house, it was a $19 million mansion. Living with Jake was basically a reality show without cameras. There was a time where Jake pulled a buried alive prank on Tessa Brooks, which sounds more like a horror movie than a funny gag.
The buried alive prank is where you go into someone's room while they're sleeping, you put a ton of blankets over them. It's like a lot of weight and like pressure, and they feel like they're in a coffin. And guys, this would only work because like they're just waking up, and then they're still asleep while all this weight is on them, and you play an ambulance noise, and then you start to talk like it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay, she's gonna make it through it, she's gonna make it through it, and then they freak out. Alright, so let's see what happens.
And let's not forget the neighbor complaints about noise, fires, and general chaos. Jake turned the mansion into a circus, and people couldn't look away. Speaking of chaos, let's talk about Jake's relationship with fellow influencer Alyssa Violet. The two were Team 10's power couple until they weren't. Alyssa accused Jake of cheating on her while she was home, saying he'd bring other girls into their shared house. Eventually this blew up, and their breakup was as public as it could get.
He told me he loved me one night, and then a couple days later he flew out this girl from Ohio. They were like hooking up in Ohio, and he flew out this girl and was smashing her for like a week. That was like a few days after he told me he loved me. And I would be like downstairs in the kitchen, like making breakfast or something. I'd just get back from the gym, I'd be cooking food, and then all of a sudden I'd hear them upstairs like I could hear it. I could literally hear it. Like, do you know what that does to a person that you like love? And then you could just hear them like banging another girl upstairs. And that's happened so many times.
If there's one thing Jake is good at, it's convincing people to give him their money. In 2018, Jake launched Edfluence, the exclusive course that promised to teach fans how to become social media stars for just $7. Except plot twist, it wasn't $7. Once you paid, you were hit with extra charges, bringing the total to $64. And the kicker? The course wasn't even good, it's just normal stuff that you can find on internet for free. By 2020, Edfluence shut down, leaving people who paid feeling scammed. If you spent $64 hoping to become the next Jake Paul, all you got was a dead website. In 2019, Jake fake married fellow YouTuber Tana Mongeau in what might be the most chaotic PR stunt ever. They streamed the wedding and charged his fans $50 to watch the whole thing via live stream. Millions of dollars rolled in from sponsorships, YouTube views, merch, and fees. Right after the YouTuber couple leaned in for their first kiss as husband and wife at the Graffiti Mansion on July 28th, someone poured champagne on them, and a massive fight broke which interrupted the couple's first kiss as spouses, which caused Jake and the priest to fight the champagne thrower. But in January 2020, Jake and Tana posted photos to their Instagram pages with statements saying they were taking a break from their relationship, which is less than 6 months after their wedding, leaving fans wondering if it was ever real. Spoiler, it wasn't. Here is what Tana has to say about this.
And then my dad almost died that night of the wedding. He had a stroke, and I was in Vegas and been having all these dreams that he was gonna die, and then I thought he was gonna die. So I didn't go on the honeymoon, and this giant part of me wanted Jake so badly to stay, like take care of me. And when he didn't, I was so heartbroken, but it's again my fault. After talking about it with him afterwards, like Jake verbatim has said, you know, when someone dies, I celebrate their life and I move on. That's how I was raised. I wanted to fix this person who was so emotionally up, but then when it came time for them to like help me and fix me, they couldn't, and that was my fault for falling for that.
Jake's transition into boxing was unexpected. It started with a fight against DG KSI's brother, where Jake won and immediately declared himself a future champion, and he knocked out Anderson Gibb. Things got more serious when he fought actual fighters like Ben Askren and Tyron Woodley. Some people believe that the boxing match between Jake Paul and Ben Askren was staged as Daniel Cormier, a former UFC fighter and current analyst, questioned on Twitter why Askren was laughing on his way to the back after the fight. It is officially revealed that Askren's base pay for the fight was $500,000, with even more expected to come in depending on PPV revenue and other criteria. With that kind of money in 2 minutes comparing to what he made over 3 fights combined as a member of the UFC roster, it's no wonder some are wondering if this was all just a very clever cash-in from a fighter who had already ended his MMA career and said he would not box again. But let's not forget his fight with Tommy Fury in 2023, where Jake finally tasted defeat, where Fury threw nearly double the amount of Paul's thrown punches, defeating Jake via 8-round split decision.
You are a YouTuber. You ain't a boxer, mate. You're not a fighter. This guy never took a punch. I've watched all of his fights. He's never took one serious punch. Here's what he's took of Anderson Silva. And he's done this. What is that? What is that?
Jake also tried his hand on music. Songs like It's Everyday Bro became infamous not because they were good, but because they were so bad they went viral. But Jake, being Jake, turned the hate into views and merch sales. Somehow, even his terrible music made him money. Jake has been also involved in plenty of shady deals, but mystery brand might take the cake. In 2018, he promoted this site where fans could supposedly win luxury items like designer clothes and expensive gadgets.
Allow me to explain. So basically, there's this thing on the internet called mystery boxes. You buy them, you don't know what's gonna be in them. They come to your house, you open it up, and it's a mystery! You could get a pile of shit, or you could get a Rolls Royce.
Except most people got scammed. One person paid $350 plus $50 shipping and didn't receive anything even after a month and a half. Shady, right?
I think we're getting scammed by a kindergartner.
In 2020, Jake's house was raided by the FBI. Why? No one really knows, but it involved guns and it wasn't a good look. The FBI confirmed that it is investigating allegations of criminal acts surrounding the incident at Scottsdale Fashion Square in May 2020 due to his presence where mall looting occurred. But before the charges were passed down, Paul released a statement on Twitter saying this. In June, Paul was charged with trespassing and unlawful assembly after social media videos were posted showing him entering a mall in Scottsdale, Arizona, that was being looted. In a statement Wednesday, the Scottsdale Police Department said it dismissed the charges so a federal criminal investigation could move forward. Did it slow him down? Not at all. Jake bounced back like always, turning the raid into more content for his fans. So what's the deal with Jake Paul? He's like that kid in high school who annoyed everyone but somehow still became popular. Alright, so here's the deal with Jake Paul fighting Mike Tyson. It's honestly the most WWE thing I've seen in boxing. Like, come on, does anyone seriously think this is a legit fight?
This fight was most definitely rigged. Here's some evidence you might have missed. Tyson was doing fantastic at the beginning, landing some big shots and knocking Jake around the ring. But that changed when Paul clenched with Tyson. It's alleged he whispered into Tyson's ear to cool it, and the message was confirmed received by Tyson with the affirming tap on the back. After that moment, Tyson became a stick in the mud, standing directly in front of Paul with no more aggressiveness to him. Like here, for instance, Tyson can see the right hand plain as day and makes no attempt to slip it. My next reason is Tyson was definitely pulling his punches. Tyson looked as if he was struggling to hold back and not throw punches at Paul. Here's a perfect example. Tyson deflects the shot off his shoulder, comes up in perfect position to land a counter right hand, but does nothing. Very uncharacteristic. And my final reason is Tyson biting his glove. The reason he was doing this was to remind himself not to throw punches and let Jake control the pace. Was this fight a fake? Let me know in the comments.
Mike Tyson is pushing 60, he would knock dudes out before they even knew the fight started, but now he's got health problems and Jake's out here acting like he's taking on prime Iron Mike. It's so staged it might as well come with a script. Jake gets to say he fought one of the greatest boxers ever, and Tyson gets a fat check to play along. It's like WWE but with gloves and no body slams. Tyson's probably told to hold back, maybe throw some light jabs so Jake doesn't get KO'd in the first round. And Jake? He's out here acting like he's doing something heroic, taking on a legend, when it's really just another way to rack up views and sell tickets. Let's talk about Jake Paul calling out Conor McGregor again after his fight with Mike Tyson.
Thoughts on Tyson, Jake Paul? Who gives a bollocks?
Nobody gives a bollocks.
No one gives a fuck about him.
Nobody gives a fuck about that lad.
I hope Mike rattles that little dope.
I hope Tyson fucking cracks that lad.
How was that even in the fucking Dallas Stadium?
How the fuck did they even get a stadium?
This is Mike Tyson Kush, yes?
This is Tyson Weed. Tyson Weed.
There's no one doing it like me. Nobody.
I'm still the fucking king of this shit, right? I'm the king of this shit, right?
But let's be real, Conor probably doesn't even take Jake seriously. Jake knows Conor's got a massive fan base and that a fight between the two would be a money printing machine. But the truth is Conor got money and the fight will never happen. His entire career is built on controversy, cringe, and being as loud as possible. And honestly, it works. Whether it's pranks, boxing, or fake marriages, Jake knows how to grab attention. Love him or hate him, you're still talking about him, and for Jake Paul, that's a win. Subscribe and drop your comments below if you think Jake versus Mike Tyson is staged.